This is my math project. Okay, to be fair, it doesn't actually look like my math project, or look like a math project at all, or anything for school, but trust me, it actually is. Like here's the proof. I'll show you, okay? Here's the proof. Okay, you got all that down? Yeah, it might look like a lot. And once you see the inside of how this thing actually works, you'll understand fully. But first, how did we get here? Well, let's find out. In order to understand where this project really came from, where the idea for this project really came from, we have to go back to November 2020. I finished watching the Scott Eugene video of him making his own mini Macintosh video thing, where he basically used the sidecar or continuity feature in Apple's iPad and Apple's MacBook, so he could use his iPad as an external monitor right above his Mac Studio. Now, the thing is that it was only meant to be used with an iPad, and it was kind of bulky. But that design still inspired me to make this project. It's kind of how this entire project sprung to life. However, I didn't really get an excuse to work on it much, except for making a Lego prototype. Until we fast forward to August of 2025, this year, and I'm in my geometry classroom. However, he tells us that we have this project. It's called the Impressive Project. And then in September, he publishes the rubric, and I'm like, I finally have an excuse to work on one of my projects because I remember it all of a sudden. Then in October, I get all of the coding started. Well, like near the end of October, near Halloween, I get all of the coding started. And then in November, I polish everything up. I get 3D models done. I get basic planning sketches done, and then fast forward to Thanksgiving break. I have 1 week until the project is due. The project is due on December 1st, and I'm like, I have everything that I need in order to fully get started. It's time for me to go and get the 3D printer fired up. With a little help from my dad, we managed to, get everything converted to the proper G-code file format, and this is where things start to go wrong, because a stupid 3D printer wasn't 3D printing for some reason. And I was like, what can I do? Now, thankfully, I did have a backup plan, and that was resorting to cardboard and paper to get this done. Yeah, I'm looking at this right now, actually, and I'm pretty much sure that it's gonna collapse eventually. Now, we did get the actual parts ordered within, by Tuesday. And then, of course, we get the screen ordered. Now, there's a problem here. The screen came broken on the weekend Thanksgiving break had started. So we had to order a replacement, And right now, the replacement is actually in the project. It arrived on Tuesday. Came with a HDMI cable and a power cable. Can be powered directly from the Raspberry Pi. And well, then I decided to start making 3D models, and I was getting the Raspberry Pi set up until disaster strikes again. I now have a fried flash drive because of that. For some reason, the flash drive I was booting Raspberry Pi OS, the port of Debian Trixie from, it got corrupted and it stopped working. Whenever I plug it into Windows, it thinks it's a device you're supposed to plug something into. Like those old DVD drive things you put a DVD into, and it try to open it when there's no DVD. It says, please enter a DVD or a drive into a disk into drive E or something, or drive I. That's what it did to my flash drive. Now, thankfully, we did have a micro SD card lying around. I didn't even see that it was inside of the Raspberry Pi. And we managed to get that fixed, and that booted up. And now I'm currently editing this video. Now, there is a project rubric as well. Here it is. I'll show it to you guys. So you guys can take a look, take like a minute to look through it and scroll through. And yeah, that's pretty much how I made this thing. Now, this is if I do get time, I will make an actual version, and if we get the 3D printer to work. But, this is what you get for 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks of sheer dedication and willpower.